Hi everyone, it's Stacy. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for coming on this yoga leap with me. If you're new, welcome. If you've been practicing with me for a while, welcome also. Today you'll notice I don't have my chair. That's because for the most part we're going to stay seated on the ground. If you do want to practice in a chair, by all means go ahead and grab one along with any other props you might like. Blocks, straps, blankets, bolsters. I'm not really going to be cueing with them just because I never know what people have access to at home other than a space. So yeah, like I said, we're mostly going to be staying on the mat today, doing a lot of stretching and just kind of a nice feel good, real slow flow with lots of movement and breath, but mostly stretchy. So without further ado, I'll meet you back on my mat and we're going to start seated. So let's come into a nice comfortable seated position on the ground. You can have your legs crossed. If you already feel like you want to come into a lotus or half lotus by bringing the foot up into the hip creases, one or both, go for it. And if you're looking for something even a little looser, just sit in a nice, open, easy seated cross-legged pose. So I'm going to find my seat as well and catch my breath. Which we can all do. So to begin with, we always want to spend a few moments, a few breaths, just sort of landing in our space, making sure that we are present and grounded. We found the time to come to our mat for our yoga practice. We want to make sure that we get the most out of it by really staying present and focused in our practice. That's one of the most important things of the practice, just staying focused and really sort of feeling the body and the movements and the sensations in the moment. Easier said than done, I know. So let's take a few breaths to try and get there. Eyes open or closed, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Hands down or up, again, depending on what type of energy you are most interested in inviting. So you might want to bring energy in to your practice. You might want to have the hands turned up and open, or maybe you're looking to just calm things down, slow things down, and you'll turn your hands down towards the lap and maybe even just feel that nice connection to your body. Sitting up nice and tall, we want to root through the sit bones. And like I said before, eyes open or closed. If the eyes are staying open, no problem. Just maybe turning the gaze down, find a nice still gaze at something in front of you. Just so you can softly rest your eyes there. And then just tune into the breath. Notice the breath coming in and out of the body. Notice where it's coming in and out. Is it in the belly? A little bit higher up in the chest? Maybe you're really just noticing the flow of air in and out through the nose. Just notice there's no right or wrong answer. This just helps us turn our attention inwards and focus on being here, pushing our thoughts of, oh, I wish I had, and all the, oh, I still need to do's. You can get to those. You can just maybe leave them outside your space for now. Notice that breath. In these quiet moments, if setting an intention for your practice is something you like to do, so an intention is just like a little motto or mantra, something you can repeat to yourself over and over that you can come back to if you do find that your thoughts start to drift to those what ifs and I wish I hads, along with tuning into your breath. So a mantra or a motto or an intention can be something simple like I am present, something like I am happy, I am here, I am grounded, anything that resonates with you today. You just want to repeat that little motto over to yourself a few times, kind of let it wash over your body, settle into your cells, know it's there to come back to at any time. Maybe taking a couple of deep breaths here, inhaling through the nose, filling up the belly, ribs, and chest. And then exhale, let it all go. You can sigh it out, make some noise if you need to, and do a couple more like that. at your own pace, inhaling through the nose, filling up belly, ribs, and chest. And then exhale, press all the air out, chest, ribs, and belly. One more time. If the eyes are closed, maybe blinking them open, reacquainting yourself with the room around you. Let's start to bring a bit of movement to the breath. Inhale as we fill belly, ribs, and chest. Sweep the arms up overhead. And then exhale, press all the air back down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale to reach up. Exhale. This time let's inhale, reach up, stay reaching. Really see if we can lengthen through the fingertips, lengthen through the sides of the body, draw everything up, 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 up. And as we exhale, let's see if we can twist over through the core to one side. Let the hand come across the body. Sitting up nice and tall, still take an inhale here. And exhale. We'll inhale through center, untwist, sweep the arms up. Reach, 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 reach. Find that nice long side body through both sides. Inhale, inhale, inhale. And then exhale, twist over to the other side. Inhale here. Exhale. And then inhale, sweep the arms up through center. Good. This time as we exhale, let's let the left hand drop down. We'll take another inhale as the right arm reaches up, and then exhale over. Find a side bend. Stay really rooted and connected through the opposite side. Don't let the side body come up. Stay glued down. Feel that stretch through the side body. Inhale and exhale here. Inhale through center. Reach, 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 reach. And then exhale, let the right hand find the floor. Take another inhale as left reaches up, and then exhale, side bend. Again, staying really rooted down through the opposite side body here. You might even want to press into the support hand to see if we can find more spaciousness between the ribs and the hips. When we're ready, we'll inhale through center, reach, 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 reach. As we exhale, this time let's sweep the hands behind. They may reach behind, they may clasp, and you might fold the knuckles, and you might reach the knuckles down towards the mat behind you, depending on how we're feeling, and open up through the front side body. Spend a couple of breaths here in this nice big open heart opener. And then if you've got the knuckles clasped, release them, sweep the arms up to inhale. And then exhale, let's just draw the hands through the center line of the body and rest them back down on our lap. If you're ready to change the cross of the legs, go ahead and do that. You don't have to. And we'll just do a few hip circles here. So just start to circle through the hips as we inhale and exhale as we go back. Inhale to pull the heart space through, exhale, round through the spine. So just start to feel movement through the space, start to feel the weight shift from side to side. Find those nice deep breaths. All right, let's take an inhale, come up through center, and then we'll switch directions. So inhale and exhale. Notice the weight shifting from side to side in the other direction. Does it feel different, the same? There's no right or wrong. All right, on the next inhale, let's sit up nice and tall. Awesome. Okay, let's come into a few stretches while we're still seated. To begin with, let's just stretch our arms out in front of us, and let's just cross them over top, and we can reach back and either grab onto our opposite shoulders, or if we're feeling ready, we might not. We can come into a full bind where the palms are going to find each other, and we can play with a bit of eagle arms here. I'm going to stick with grabbing onto the shoulders, giving myself a little hug here. Maybe even rounding through the spine if that feels okay. Coming back up, we'll release the hands here. Maybe we can release, actually, shake out the shoulders, give them a few rolls, and then we'll go to the other side. All right, inhale the hands up. Cross the opposite arm under and reach back for shoulders, or if you are feeling ready, come into that full bind. And then give yourself a little hug and a squeeze, maybe even around through the spine a bit. Come on up, good, release. Okay, couple shoulder rolls here. Awesome. Let's extend our right leg out to the side. Keep this left leg tucked in. So we're sitting in a bit of a wide leg seated posture, but with a bent leg. Let's find another nice big side stretch. So sitting evenly through the sit bones, let's sit up nice and tall and then twist our bodies over to the the bent leg. Let's reach our hand along the extended leg. Take an inhale here, sweep opposite arm up, and then exhale, fold sideways towards the long leg. So by turning our bodies, stay where you are, keep finding breath and space, but by turning our bodies towards the short leg, what we've done is aligned ourselves up to find a proper side stretch, as opposed to our chest coming down towards the leg, which is fine. It's just not the stretch that we're doing right now. So keep thinking about opening up that top shoulder, finding nice stretch and length down this side body here. All right. Stay for a couple more breaths. Keep rolling the top shoulder open, spinning the bottom shoulder under. Find a side stretch. On your next inhale, come up through center. See if we can place this left hand behind us to help push our hips off the ground. We're also going to lift the hips off the ground, open up through the front side body. I'm just reaching back behind me here to create a bit more length down this other side here, down my right side now. All the way from my fingers to my toes. Stay for a breath. And then come on back down. And we'll find ourselves seated back down. Let's open up. Now we're in full V sit here. Sit up nice and tall in the sit bones. If you find that you're kind of rolling back off of the sit bones, bring the hands behind and maybe help roll and spin the pelvis underneath the hips so that you're sitting straight up and down. The hands behind might help you find that nice tall spine. If you find that you can sit here without rolling back without the help of the hands might be able to come forward. So making sure you're still sitting up nice and tall with a long spine. We're going to hinge at the hips here and start to walk ourselves forward. Nice and easy. Stay with that long spine. Find a couple of breaths here. Maybe you walk a little more forward, maybe not. Toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. On the next inhale, let's walk ourselves all the way back up. And then we're going to bring our right leg in, and we'll do that little sequence on the other side. So let's begin with sitting up nice and tall. We're going to turn our bodies towards the bent leg so that now we've lined ourselves up so we can do a nice side stretch. So we'll reach out along the left leg. Inhale, sweep right arm up. Exhale, bend sideways towards the extended left leg. Keep rooting down through the right sit bone. Keep spinning that top shoulder back, bottom shoulder under to open up through the front side body here. Gaze is wherever the neck feels safe. It might be forward, might be up underneath the armpit, maybe down at the ground. So find what works for you. Stay for 2 more full cycles of breath. On the inhale, let's come all the way back up. Let's see if we can plant that right hand behind as we help lift the hips up. Use the momentum of that opposite arm and find a nice long line of energy from fingers to toes on the left side now. Couple breaths here. And when you're ready, we can exhale, come on back down to seated. Let's open up again into that nice wide straddle. So again, if you find that you're rolling back, bring the hands behind, help root down through the fingers to help sit up nice and tall. If you find that you don't need help behind, bring the hands forward and we'll walk ourselves forward with a nice tall spine. If you're feeling ready to melt down, round down, go ahead and do that. You may or may not want to. If you've melted down and rounded through the spine, take a few breaths into the backside body. Really feel the back side of the ribs expand if you're doing this option. And then we'll inhale, come back to our nice tall spine and walk ourselves back up to seated. Excellent. Let's bring the legs together and we're just going to make our way to all fours. So we're going to come into our tabletop position here. We're going to stack our joints, spread the fingers nice and wide. So we've got wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Pull the belly in here. And we'll do a few rounds of cat-cow. On the inhale, drop the belly, send the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and start to pull the heart space through. Look up. You'll feel a nice stretch through that belly, through that front side body. This is our inhale. And then exhale, we're going to start to pull the belly back towards the spine, push the mat away and round through the spine. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale. And exhale. So find a few breaths at your own pace. Add in any movements that feel good to your body. So you may want to roll through the spine a little bit. You may want to look over one shoulder then the other, or a combination of anything like that. Again, just any sort of natural movements that you want to explore in your body. Couple more rounds. When you're coming to your next inhale, come to a neutral spine. So we'll set that tabletop back up. And then we're going to send the hips back into child's pose. So send the hips back over the heels. Spread the knees if that feels comfortable, or keep them close together and drape over the knees. And then go ahead and round down or melt down to the floor. Find a few breaths. Option here, if you have melted down to the floor, so you've got space in between your knees and you're reaching down to the mat, you can bring the hands to prayer and fold them up behind your head and think about walking the elbows forward, so creating a little bit of stretch in the shoulders and the back of the arms, the triceps. This is an option to get a little more arm stretching. Keep sinking the hips back. Keep breathing into the backside body. One more breath. Let's release the hands. And we'll lift the forehead and come back up to our tabletop. Now we're going to step a foot through. So I'm going to step my right foot through and I'm going to come into a lunge. So I want to just make sure that my hips are square and that I'm coming up and not in this 90-degree angle with the knee. We want to tuck the hips under and then send the weight forward. So now I'm not in a 90-degree angle in this back leg. I am in the front and I've got weight supporting me here. If this is too much on the knee, options are to put something soft underneath to roll the mat to create a bit of space, or if that's still not enough, an option might be to tuck the toes and come up off the knee altogether and stay in a bit of a higher lunge. So this is a nice option. We are going to do some breath work here. So whether you have the knee lifted or lowered, let's inhale, reach the hands up, keep tucking that tailbone under. I'm going to lower back down, find what works for you here. So let's inhale here, open up, find cactus arms. So we've got a nice open expansion across the front side of the body. And as we exhale, let's hinge forward, plant the hands and send the hips back. So we're gonna flow a little bit with this. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths to begin with. We're stretching out the back of the leg in the front, the right leg here. Let's come forward again. Inhale and open up. And then exhale, we'll dive forward. Find the support under blocks or on the mat. Send the hips back. Now, if you've got your knee lifted, and we're gonna inhale here, we can still dive forward. We'll straighten the front leg and fold forward over the front leg. And then bend again, inhale and exhale. So those are the options. We're gonna keep going for a couple more rounds here. Moving with the breath. Let's do 2 more. This time when we come forward, if you have your knee lifted, come on down, uncurl the toe. We're going to come into a twist. So we're going to plant the left hand down. You can keep your knee lifted for this. I shouldn't suggest that you have to come down. Plant the left hand, press into the mat, sweep the right arm up and twist towards the bent knee. So a closed twist. It would look something like this if the knee was still up. Square the hips off, so keep pulling the right hip back, left hip forward. Stay for 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale, let's lower that right hand down. And we're gonna come into our pigeon. So now if your knee is lifted, go ahead, drop the back knee, walk the right foot across the mat so we can drop the right knee behind the right wrist. A couple of options in pigeon. If you know your pigeon and you know what you like to get into, go ahead and find that now. Don't wait for me. I'm just going to offer a couple of options here. So we want to try and square the hips off as much as possible to the front of the mat. You can stay lifted, you can melt down, or if it's feeling a little intense, you can even roll onto the right hip, create 2 90-degree angles with your legs here, and then fold down over the front leg. This is a deer pose. It's similar. It's still going to give you that nice stretch in the right hip. I'm actually going to come back into a pigeon here, but finding what works for you, staying for a few breaths. You can remember either lifted, lowered, or in our deer pose. A couple more rounds of breath. Try to soften through that right hip. So if you're very happy in your pigeon and you want to stay there, by all means stay. If you are looking to add a bit of a quad stretch on the back leg, option 2, come on up if you've lowered down, bend the back leg, reach back for it, and then square the hips off. Or if you're in that deer pose, you may even want to roll a little more sideways, a little more back onto the hip, and then bend the back leg and find a quad stretch. It helps to push the pelvis forward maybe, so you can feel a stretch down the front of the leg here. I'm choosing this option for my quad stretch. If you're in pigeon and you're happy, stay there. We have 2 more breaths. All right, we need to get out of wherever we are. So if you've got the back leg, let it go. Don't let it slingshot. Use a bit of control to let it go. Awesome. If you're in your pigeon, come on up. Good. Let's press ourselves all the way up. See if we can lean back and step the feet in front of us and windshield wiper them out a little bit. Take your time. I know it was a little bit pretzel-y there getting out of that one. All right, guess what? We got to do that on the other side. So let's make our way into our tabletop on the other side. I'm just going to turn to face this way. We can take a few rounds of cat-cow if we need to, just settle in here. And when we're ready, we'll find that neutral tabletop, belly pulled in. This time we're gonna step left foot through. And remember, we don't wanna be in this 90 degrees. We wanna come on up, tilt the pelvis under, and send it all forward. So we're in a lunge. So we're feeling a stretch through the front hip flexor here. Again, if it's too much on the knee, place some padding under the knee, or option to curl the toes and come on off the knee altogether. It feels different on each side. I have a hard time having my knee down on this side, so we'll see how it goes for me. All right, let's inhale, sweep the arms up and open. Find that nice big expansion through the chest, and then exhale, lean forward, find the support of the mat or blocks, and send the hips back into our hamstring stretch on the left. Stay for a couple breaths here, then we'll start to flow with our breath. All right, when we're ready, let's start to inhale as we glide forward, sweep the arms up and open, and then exhale, send the hips back. Inhale, coming forward, and exhale. Remember, if our knee is lifted, we're going to inhale, bend through the front knee, open up, and then exhale, straighten through the front leg. Blocks might help here. Exhale over that front straight leg, and then bend into the front leg. Inhale, and exhale. All right, one more. I'm coming back down. Inhale. Exhale. Pause here. When we're on our next inhale, come on forward. We're going to find that twist. Knee can be down or lifted. We'll plant the right hand down, press into the mat as we sweep left arm up and open. Keep sinking the hips low. Find our twist and breathe. One more big inhale and exhale. Come on down to the front. Now if the knee's lifted, lower it down. Walk the left foot across and drop the left knee behind left wrist. We're coming into pigeon on the left side. So remember those options from before. We can stay lifted in our pigeon, we can melt down, or we can roll now onto that left hip and bend both legs. So we've got 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, and you can melt down or stay lifted. So choosing an option. Let's stay for 3 rounds of breath. Try to release through the left hip. And then just like before, if you're happy in pigeon, stay there. If you want to come on up and reach for that back leg to do a quad stretch, you can of course stay lifted. You can roll onto your left hip a little bit more even. Push the pelvis forward to create that stretch down the front of the back leg. If you're in pigeon, keep breathing, stay where you are, enjoy the stretch. One more breath, inhale. Exhale, and if you've got that back leg, release it. Try not to slingshot it, use a little control. If you're in pigeon, walk yourself up, and then just see if we can come around to the front again. This time we're going to come into our butterfly. So making our way to our sit bones, draw the soles of the feet together and let the legs, the knees splay open. So any options here, you can make as small or as big of a space with the knees as you'd like. You can hold on to ankles, soles of feet, maybe take your peace fingers or wrap them through the big toes. Any option here, and you can stay lifted with a nice tall spine or lean forward with a tall spine, or even if you really are wanting to melt down and round through the spine, go for that too. Let's stay for 3 breaths. On the next inhale, let's make our way up. Good. Let's draw the knees together. Let's extend both legs out in front, sit up nice and tall. Same thing here. If you find you're sort of rolling back, bring the hands behind and just press into the mat. See if we can get ourselves sitting up nice and tall. We might want to stay here, or we may want to take this stretch a little deeper. We can bring the hands forward and just start walking ourselves down the outstretched front legs with a long spine to begin with. And then when you find that edge, when you can't fold forward anymore without rounding, go ahead and round. Feel the stretch down the back of the legs. Toes are flexed back towards the face. 2 more rounds of breath. On the next inhale, let's walk ourselves back up. Good. And we're going to, I'm just going to turn sideways here. We're going to make our way down to our backs and finish off in a nice Shavasana. So getting down any way that feels safe. You may want to release the hands and roll down 1 vertebrae at a time using core strength. You may want to grab onto one leg and use it as a little bit of a lever to get down. When we get all the way down, draw both legs in towards the chest. You can rock side to side here. Release the hands, keep the knees tucked in. Let's find a gentle spinal twist. Just let the knees fall over to the left. The arms can come out along the mat, making a T, or bringing them into cactus, which goalpost arms, and turn the gaze away from the knees if it feels okay. A gentle spinal twist here. Option to take that left hand and just help guide the knees gently over to the left a little more, not yanking them, just helping them stay twisted. Breathing in to the open side body. On the next inhale, bringing the gaze back through center, using a bit of core strength, let's bring those legs back through center, and then we'll let them fall over to the other side. Arms can be in a T or cactus. And again, the right hand now can guide the knees towards the right a little bit more as we turn our gaze away from the knees. Staying for a few rounds of breath, breathing into the openness of the side body. One more round of breath. And then on the inhale, let's bring the gaze back through center, bring the knees back through center. Feel free to give them another squeeze or come into happy baby, maybe reaching for calves, ankles, or soles of feet, or maybe just getting ready to move into Shavasana. Just notice if there feels like there's any other movements your bodies might be wanting. And if not, making your way to your final resting posture, which can be any shape that feels comfortable. Options might be to have the knees bent and walk the feet a little bit wide on the mat. Let the knees fall in. This just takes any strain and work out of the low back and legs so that you can relax and soften into Shavasana. Or of course, option to have the legs straight out in front of us, reaching the feet out to the corners of the mat, taking up space on our mat in our yoga space here. Hands can come down by our sides with palms turned up, or if we want to reconnect to breath and body, bringing one hand to our belly, one to our heart center. And just start to scan the body, from the toes, up the legs, through the pelvis, the belly, the chest, front and back, shoulders, arms and fingers, scanning our neck, back of our head and face, and see if we can't just let any tension go. Take a few breaths. Shavasana is the time for our physical and energetic bodies to absorb all that good work we just did and turn it into something magical. It's a time for integration and rest. And know that rest is different from sleep, and that we need both every day, and we should never pass up an opportunity to just rest and do nothing. Now, the beauty of practicing through the lens is, of course, you can stay exactly as you are, let the video play out, or press pause, and just continue on with your Shavasana for as long as your body wants or needs. But if you do feel ready to start waking up the body and get on with your day or evening, go ahead and wiggle through fingers and toes. Maybe circle wrists and ankles. Maybe take a big long stretch along your mat or curl into a little ball one more time just before rolling over to one side and making your way to a comfortable seated position. And from here, we can check back in with our body, our breath, our mantra, our motto from the beginning of class, and just notice if there's any change. And if there's not, that's okay. There's no right or wrong answer here. We're just checking in and noticing. And then all together, we'll take a big breath. Let's inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. Let's draw the hands through heart center. You can stop with hands at prayer. You can rest hands over heart or bring them all the way back down to your lap, whatever feels best for you. I just want to thank you so much for allowing me into your personal private yoga practice spaces, for allowing me to guide you through this stretchy, slow, lovely yoga flow today. I hope it is exactly what your bodies were needing. And until we have the chance to do this again next week, I hope you have a great week. Until then, take care. Thanks, everyone. Sneak up, grab my glasses so I can really see properly. Thanks for joining me here. I hope that was everything that you were needing. And until we have a chance to flow again next week, take care. Bye.